So let's take a look at the sandbox. And for this sandbox, there's code provided for this, but what we're going to do is we are going to generate a random number. I'm going to show you, I gave you the code for this. We're going to generate a random number and we're going to put it into a variable. Then we're going to ask the user for a number. And we're going to convert that number to an integer using the int function that we talked about on Monday. Now, the last thing, once we have a number from the computer, a secret number, and a number from the user, we're going to use if, elif, and else to tell the user whether they guessed too high, too low, or they guessed correctly. Okay? I'm going to show you exactly how to code this right now. I'm going to do it relatively quickly, but I want to show you how this is done. So the first line is an import statement. This is the first time you've seen this other than the use of the turtle. You recognize that we import the turtle module as well. Random is a module that contains functions related to generating random numbers or picking random things. Useful for all kinds of things. In this case, we're going to use random to create our random number. So I'm going to say int secret for my secret number, and I'm going to say random. So I'm invoking this random library, and I'm saying random rand int. Oops, there we go, rand int, which is a function in there that will pick a random number. So, and now I have to give it the range of numbers that it gets to choose from, and I'm going to say 1, 10. Now I'm going to ask the user for a random number, or not a random number. I'm going to ask them for their guess, int guess equals, and I'm going to nest my functions here. Now, if the user enters something that's not a viable integer, even a float here, it's going to error out. So that's something that we'll have to address later on in the class when we're creating more bulletproof programs. But the user can easily crash your program here by entering something that's a non-integer. We don't want that long term. Short term, we're just keeping it simple so we can focus on what we're doing here. So I'm going to say int, and inside that, I'm going to ask the user for their input. Input, guess a number between 1 and 10. So it'll ask them for their input, and it will immediately turn around and convert it to an integer and put it into this variable. Now all I have to do is compare those two numbers to see which one is higher or lower, and if they're neither higher nor they're lower, that means they're equal. So I'm going to say if int guess is greater than int secret, print you guessed too high. Then I'm going to say elif int guess is less than int secret, and I'm going to say print you guessed too low. Finally, I have the only other option. If they didn't guess too high, they didn't guess too low, it must be equal. So I'm going to say you guessed correctly. And just to keep the computer honest here, we're going to report out what the secret number was after the fact. Print. So I'm going to use an F string here, and I'm going to say the secret number was int secret. Now I've got my little guessing game here, right? But it's a one and done. You either guessed right or you didn't. So let's run this. Guess a number between 1 and 10. Let's go 5. You guessed too high. The secret number was 3. So there is my guessing game. So that is what a completed sandbox looks like. While you get yours up and running, let me suggest an interesting tweak to this. If I want to, I can change the difficulty level of this game quite easily. How could I make this game more difficult? What would I change? Yes, exactly. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to create 2 new variables here. I'm going to create int min for minimum and int max for maximum. I'm going to set them at 1 and 10 first. And now everywhere I have 1 in my code, here and here, I'm going to replace it with that variable. So I'm going to say int min. I'm going to change this to an f string so that I can insert that variable here, int minimum. And I'm going to do the same thing with maximum here, int max, and int, oops, got to have that there, int max. Okay, so now I can easily change the difficulty here by just changing this number, right? If I change that to 100, now it will change what the user sees, right? And there we go. So now I can change the difficulty by just changing one value in the code, and that value updates everything throughout the code. So if I want to make it an easier game, I can do that. Still 0 for 3 on those guesses. So now, if I want to make this game more fun or more interesting, what I would probably do next is give the user more than one guess, right? Now there's an easy way to do this, but we don't know how to do that yet because we haven't learned that. We'll learn that next week. It's called loops. So I can go through this code more than one time. What I have available to me right now is I would have to do like 3 different if, else in a row that were basically the same thing over and over and over. That's why loops are so great, because it prevents us from having to do that. But for today, we'll just leave that right there. So a few more things that I want to cover